Welcome to the Football Chop Up. Sitting here talking to my main man, Kyle Hayes. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? Just chilling, man. Had a good break. We was off last week for spring break up here in Orange County, so I'm good, man. Chilling.
All right, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, man. A lot of stuff happened while we was off on spring break, man. Your boy Gronk retired. You had, the NFL started new. The NFL was busy, man. They started the new, you're going to be able to review everything. What's your thoughts on that before we get started?
Man, it's like anything else, man. I mean, sometimes you got to just play the game. I get it. You know what I mean? But if you can review everything, you're going to stop the game. I mean, sometimes that's just part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Well, you got to be able to play. And I get it. When you're talking at that level, we talking big dollars, money, but it's also part of the game. You know what I'm saying? There's a human factor in there. Because if that's the case, you don't need referees. Take them off the field and just buzzer,
Yeah, man, that'll make for a long day. And, the sad part is at least 95% of the time I say those referees get it right. They really do. I mean, they make a few mistakes, but, hey, players make mistakes on the fields. Coaches make mistakes. That's part of it. Everybody, is involved in it. And now, you got, you're going to have people, because technically you can find a hold on every play. So once you open up...
I was just about to say that. Now you're going to get to the point where it's nitpicking. You're going to get to the point where, he was holding away from point of attack. That's holding. You can't take the human element out of the game because that's what makes the game great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it also makes stuff debatable. It makes stuff, it brings a lot to the game, man. Yeah, did it suck for them boys? Yeah, it sucked for them. But, that's part of the game, man. I always say it like this. Don't leave it in the hands of the ref.
Exactly. That's my motto. If that's the case, you're supposed to blow them out. And you ain't even got to worry about it. But man,
you ain't got to worry about it.
So what we talking about this week, man? What do you want to talk to the people about?
Well, we talking about, like we said, man, we want to talk about, especially, I know we talk a lot about football, and I know you're a basketball guy, but, I thought, especially with that whole Tom Izzo thing that came up at Michigan State, kind of how he went after his player a little bit for not getting back on defense or whatever the case may be, man. But that's part of all sports. So I wanted to make sure that we talk to parents about that aspect. I know we talk a lot about recruiting. We talk about that. But I want to talk to these parents with coaches. What should you expect from coaches, different coaching styles, and all that's part of the recruiting process too. So that's another reason why I want to kind of talk about this, because you also need to do your research on the type of coach he is. You know what I mean? Is he a Bobby Knight? You know what I'm saying? Or is he a Coach K? You know what I mean? So this is also part of the recruiting process, but I think we need to focus on it a little bit because it became a real big issue here over the past couple of days.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and start off. My thoughts on that. I'll just say one thing as a former basketball player. What he argued about, like, me and my wife go to the games. She know I played high school, college, and a little bit overseas. So, I tell her little things, and, like, that is my pet peeve. Ain't no way in the hell you make the mistake on the other end and you jog back. I'm talking about, bro, that's basketball 101. Like that'll piss any coach.
Right.
So, Izzo, in my opinion, all he did was yell at the man. It ain't like he put his hands on him. We was coming up, my coach would have had his hands all in my chest. You know what I'm saying? With my mama, and my mama wouldn't have even felt no kind of way. Real talk. Like,
right.
I wouldn't have even felt no kind of way. She wouldn't have been like, oh, you touched my baby. Wouldn't have been none of that. She'd have been pissed off I ain't run back either. So
right.
It's interesting how society now has changed, and then, they wonder why kids are the way they are, because, all Coach Izzo did was really yell at the young man, held him accountable. He didn't put his hands on him. I don't know if he used profanity or not, but, he
probably did.
Yeah, but he was a little hot at the young man, and he had every right to be. Real talk. So, but we'll get on, you talked about, so let's since we already there, I know we were talking earlier, you were talking about you want to go a little bit about coaching. So since even though I've coached before, since you're the head varsity football coach and you always trying to promote Coach Hayes football, over anything else.
My man's in
And I need
that's what I do.
Yeah, when I need some help paying these bills, then Coach Hayes football, write the check. But we good, Now go ahead, man. Tell the people.
I love
it. You know a little bit about Coach. You tell the people a little bit about it. And honestly,
I mean, when it comes to the relationship, right? So I'm just talking in general about, parents. What I really want to talk about is the interaction between parent and coach, right? Especially from the high school level, and kind of give them a little bit from the college level and the pro level. That's non-existent. So we ain't got to talk about pro level.
Do me a favor, because before we get in that level, we need to get them in the mindset of what comes from a coaching. Like you're a football coach. Let's stick with football. Most of these guys are football. And give me an instance like what happened with Coach Izzo that may have happened with you and some of your players. And I'll explain a little bit why I think that certain coaches can get away with it and certain coaches can't. But go ahead.
All right. Well, like for me, for example, I can only speak for myself. I don't speak for other coaches. Right. But the things that I do, be honest with you, they always calculated. There's times you got to step on a player. You know what I mean? There's times you got to talk to them. There's some kids that respond to that. There's some kids that don't respond to that. If you're a coach that's worth your salt, you know what kind of player that is. You know what I mean? And you know that it's significant. You want to also make sure that, his temperament. Like I said, that kid for Izzo responded. What's his name, Allan?
Yeah.
Now there's some other kids you do that too. They go in the tank, okay? And part of that is their background at home. You don't know if their parents yell at them all the time. You don't know if they verbally abuse. You don't know their situation. Sometimes we call kids soft, but we don't have, but as a good coach, to know their background. You know what I mean? It's like anything else, So you have to build that relationship. So that's basically what I'm getting to. Once you build that relationship with your players, you can do or you can do kind of what you need to them to mold them. I don't want to say do what you want, because that's not really right. You should never belittle a kid. I've always said that. Never curse them out in the fact of you mother such and such, you SOB, you suck. That if that's the case, then why you out there, coach? You coaching him, But so you never direct and curse words, break him down in that sense. You know what I mean? Now you may be like, get your A over here. That's something different from my tactic. But I don't think that's belittling the kid by telling them to get their behind over there. But anyway, with that being said, once you build that relationship with them, and I always tell them, man, my players, I always treat them like a pit bull, right? Once you train a pit bull and they know you loyal to them and they loyal to you, you can do whatever you want. But you won't go up and slap a pit bull that you don't know, because you're going to have a world of trouble on your hands. And that's how I kind of do it from my coaching standpoint. Once we build that trust factor with one another, they know it's all love. I might be busting your behind, but they know it's coming out of love and from a good spot.
Well, and that's what I was going to say to a lot of parents. And you as a coach know that two things. Number one, Izzo could chew his butt out because the kid feels like Izzo care about him. And number two, that Izzo done had that conversation with that kid before. For Izzo to nut up like that, that means this ain't the first time that kid done that. And, and parents, need to make sure that they're aware of that. But I just, to me, that just lets you know what kind of society we have, because he didn't put his hands on him. He didn't, he didn't,
right.
He didn't Bobby Knight him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do, throw him in the chair. He didn't do nothing like that. So
he ain't choke him out.
Yeah. So now that we talked a little bit about from a coach's perspective, we have a parent on the line, Essex O'Brien. Let's make sure that we, bring him in and just, ask him what his thoughts was as a parent and see if he even saw the incident. He might not even seen the incident. So let's bring him in and see, how he feel about it and see, what his thought process was on it. Yo, Essex, how you doing, brother? Can you hear us? Essex. You got Jordan in the background, so you might got to know something about basketball. Essex. Yeah, he can't hear us until... Yeah. He can't hear us.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine. Can you hear us?
You hear me?
We hear you fine.
Okay.
Can you hear us? I don't think he can hear us. No, I don't think he can hear us. We can hear him, but I don't think he can hear us. Hey, Kyle.
I don't know. We got to check him out. I guess he on that computer.
Yeah, he on that computer. That he's struggling with it a little bit. So we'll come back to him and see. Maybe you can give him a call, and we'll chop it up with him to see maybe if he can hear us or give him a text or something like that. But we'll bring him down, and then we'll go ahead and go, man. As a parent.
But I do want to say what you just said is important. Like, usually when a coach go off like that is not the first time that's happened. You know what I mean? That's something that's happened several times. He's probably spoken to him. Yeah, he's probably spoken to him about it the first time, right? The tone went up a little bit more, and now and like he said in his press conference, man, hey, it's do or die. You know what I mean? It ain't no tomorrow.
My bad.
So,
my bad. My bad, Coach. No, hey,
my bad get you my bad get you sent home, man.
Right, you can't keep telling me my bad. Like, I don't know too many coaches that really rock with that. But go ahead.
No. I mean, just like I'm saying, man. So we talking about that, and I was gonna say this because I know we're gonna bring E back on from a parent's perspective, but kind of lead into that. As parents, especially as they're younger, because I know he's got a younger son that's kind of into basketball and soccer and stuff like that. And I know he coaches the basketball team, so you'll get that kind of parent. You'll get a parent-player perspective, the coach-parent perspective from him. But we also want to say I want to find out from him as well. As you sit back in high school, what is his expectations when it comes to a coach and how that goes? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what.
Let's try to bring him back on, see if he can, if we can hear him. If we can hear him now. Hey, Essex, can you hear him?
Okay.
Essex. He can't hear us, man. Yeah, he can't hear us at all.
Hey, he from Miami too, dog. Hey, my dog from Miami too. So he got one of them fall off the back of the truck computers too, dog.
Yeah, man.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah, man. Y'all Miami boys got to get y'all Wi-Fi.
Hey, we don't go to bed. Hey, Vaughn. AG. We don't go to Best Buy. We go to Buy Best. You know what I'm saying?
Killing me, but I'll speak from a parent perspective because I've been a parent and
yeah, you got a son too. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna just go with my oldest son. He played under Coach Rick Darling. Now, Coach D is one of the roughest, toughest coaches out there. For a kid to play for, and because it's either his way or the highway, and the kids already know that, and they kind of listen to whatever you say. Like prime example, Sunday morning I gotta beg him to put on a shirt and tie. Coach D told him they had to wear a shirt and tie on Friday, and he in that bar trying to get the tie on and asked me to tie because he wanted to play football. So, but Coach D also, my son grew up with a military type dad, so he could, he wasn't really flipping on it. But there were a lot of kids that didn't feel like Coach D cared about him, so they would flip out with Coach D, and that's one of the reasons why I think he left, because it wasn't that he was a bad dude, just that. Because actually, Rick is actually a real good dude. But he had a bad experience in Valdosta, and that kind of changed how he acted down here. And it was a bad experience with the parents. Because in Valdosta,
right,
who are from Georgia or have lived there know that from about 85 to 2000, they was winning championship.
Valdosta was tough, boy.
And then, so Rick went up there. He won the state championship at Apopka, and then he went up there the next year. Man, they went 9-3 because Rick wanted to run the wing T. So they had these two big linebacker offensive tackles that had Jordan. They were juniors, had Jordan.
Okay.
He didn't play them their senior year. So guess what them parents did? They went and redrew the lines from Valdosta to where all them kids went to Lowndes, and guess what?
Oh, they rezoned it.
They rezoned it. And guess what? Now, if you go down I-75 and you pass by Lowndes.
You pass Lowndes on the left-hand side.
Championship. And that kind of, had him feel some kind of way, and he kind of changed on it. So, but I think, let's see. Essex, I think he went off and came back home. Let's see if we can get him in here now, man.
Hope so.
Yeah. What's up, E? Can you hear us?
Hey, what's up, man? Can y'all hear me now?
We hear you fine. We always heard
you. We good, man. Hey, but I told him, E, I say you from the crib, dog. We don't go to Best Buy. We go to Buy Best, dog. We got raggedy stuff, but we make it work, cuz.
Yeah, man. Hey man, this the last time we're gonna have a look. This dude's sipping on a little drink, man. I can't have all these Miami boys on the show, man. Y'all boys killing me. But I see.
Where you from, man?
I'm from Texas, man.
Oh, okay.
I told him. I saw you had the post in the background, so I know you know a little something about basketball.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So we was talking to these people, man, about from a parent perspective. Can you and I told him, you saw what Coach Izzo did. So as a parent, how do you feel about that?
I felt pretty good about it. I mean, knowing Coach Izzo's reputation, I didn't think it was anything that was, out of line or anything like that. He don't have a reputation for being like a Bobby Knight type of person and being abusive. And, as I heard Kyle talking earlier, I coach not at that level, obviously, but I coach kids. And sometimes you do have to get in their face and get on them. And I tell kids all the time, if I have to yell at you, it's because I have to yell at you to get through to you, to get you to do something. It's not because I'm angry with you or I'm don't like you or nothing like that. So I didn't have a problem with it. If a situation comes about where a coach has to yell at my son and I'm there watching and I know exactly what he's yelling about, I'm good with it, because sometimes that's what you have to do to get through the kids.
Yeah, because we all coach, we all in the coach at least bare minimum youth. But I tell every kid, I coach basketball and football. And I tell every parent that's on here to let them know this. The minute I quit yelling at your kid, I promise you, if I don't think you can play, man, we all done it. You put the kid out there, he give up, you be like, oh, that's Junior, man. You ain't even upset because you didn't expect, you knew he was going to give up a touchdown.
That's right.
You already knew he was going to, miss the shot. You already knew that, so you're not upset.
Yeah.
So coaches yell at kids that they think had an ability to do what they asked them to do.
Yep.
If not, and what Izzo yelled at them about, which is my pet peeve, effort. There's no excuse for you not to give me effort.
Oh yeah. That's a big one on me, man. Yeah, because the kids that really can't play, you put them in for a little bit, you take them out, and you don't pay them no attention. But the kids that can do something, and they've shown that they can do better. Oh, you better give me that same effort every time out because there's no excuse, especially if you're young.
Exactly. Well, you had something to say, Coach?
I was gonna say this, and especially, man, you guys just made a great point about, you say not talking to those guys. But one thing I think we left out too is that sport is an emotional game.
Yeah.
Right. Especially in football, you basically making decisions every 20 seconds. Yeah. Right. Because there's a stoppage of play every 20 seconds. You got to flow.
It's not a natural flow in basketball. You can go from offense to defense. It's a different kind of flow.
It's just it's constant back and forth. Yeah, but in football, you know what I mean? Every 20 there's a play. So guess what? I got 20 seconds to decipher what just happened, make a new play call, try and make coaching corrections, and you can't do all that at our tone of voice that we talking right now. And you trying to yell 54 and a half yards across the football field, over the band, over the mama, over this. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, it's an emotional game. And I tell my players all the time, if I start coach, I done checked out. I'm probably going to either resign and I'm out of here because I've given up. You know what I mean? And that's something I tell them all the time. If I don't have emotion coming out of my voice, if you're not playing with that same emotion, guess what, guy? We checked out. We might well just forfeit the games. Helmets to the left, shoulder pads to the right, and check it in.
Yeah, because your team takes on your personality. From my perspective, if you got a coach that's laid back and don't really care, he going through emotions. Going through the motions, that's going to affect the team. Because I saw that with soccer. My son had a coach that was just kind of soft spoken and wasn't really about winning, and that's how the kids perform. When he got another coach that was about winning and had passion for the game, it fed into their play. So, that's a good point.
Well, I tell you what, let's make sure we, since you're as a parent, and there are probably parents on it, what would you do if you did have a problem with the way, let's say Izzo, grabbed him by his throat and threw him in the chair. And, how would you handle a situation like that as a parent? Well, Izzo might be a far-fetched because all these guys in high school, but let's say you have a high school coach that perhaps let's get what parents really care about. He's not playing their kid. And you feel you feel like your kids should be able to play. How would you handle a situation like that?
Oh man, it's funny you say that because I've been in those situations with my son now, but I can only imagine in high school the stakes are a little bit more high. But as a parent who's active in his kid's life, first of all, I'm watching my son to see, okay, what can I defend him with, and what can't I defend him with? So if he's not playing my son, and I'm going to practices and things like that, my son kicking ass.
Not right there.
I can go to that coach and be like, "Hey, man, he's doing what he's supposed to do in practice."
Stop right there, just real quick. Yeah, and I hope that every parent heard what you just said. You said, if I'm going to practice and watching the practices, I hate when parents complain about their kid not playing and they don't come to the practice. You have to go to the practice so that you can see everything that's going on. And if you don't know the sport, take somebody with you who does.
Oh my God!
Because I want to emphasize that to any parent who's watching. If you have a problem with your son's playing time, before you say one word to him, to your coach, go to that practice and see what your son. Even because the beautiful thing about football, basketball, no matter what sport it is, at the end of practice, what do? You run it. You run it. In basketball, you run it, sprints, and foot. So guess what? If I come to the end of practice, because we all are coachable folk, if you got a kid that's busting his butt, running them sprints as hard as he can, you're going to try to find a way to get him in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if your son at the end of practice is cool breezing it, hey, that might be why you don't get in. But go ahead. I had to stop that because I know that went over a lot of parents' heads. Like you said, you're going to go to practice, watch the practice, go from there.
Absolutely, yeah. So said all that to basically say, I can go to that coach then if he's not playing him and my son is maxing out his effort, he's showing improvement, he's being coachable, I can go to that coach and be like, okay, what's the problem? Why you not playing him? What does he need to do and show you so that he can get that playing time? And then conversely, if he's not doing it, I can be like, okay, look, I know Essex needs to work on this, he needs to work on that, but he does this well, he does that well. Where can we fit him in to give him more opportunities to grow and learn? It's kind of happening now because my son's playing AAU now. He's moved up from the YBOA, and it's been a bit of a challenge for him making that switch where you got guaranteed minutes versus now you playing with kids who was just as good as you in YBOA. So now you have to earn those minutes. So it's a bit of a different mentality. But I go and I talk to the coach like that to be like, okay, this is what he does well. This is where he needs to be. What can we do? How can I help you to get him to that point so that he can play?
See, I like that from all the parents who listen. I love his response. That it's hard for a coach to have an issue because he said, "How can I help you?" It's hard if a coach feels like you helping him. Because Coach Hayes, people always wonder why, the parents who help the coach their son get a bone thrown, because the coaches need help in Florida. They ain't getting that kind of money like in high school, so they need all the help they can get. So if your mama coming up here and she cooking brisket and baked beans and chicken wings and cleaning up the concession stand, hey, I can put Junior in on the punt return. Go ahead, Coach A.
But I would say this, guy, because I did want to talk about the kind of like the format of how that goes, because there's so many parents that approach this at the wrong time. There's so many parents that, they do it right after a game. I know when we was right over at Oak Ridge, I know Clint always had what he called a 48-hour rule. You know what I mean? If you got an issue with something that happened at a game, take 48 hours, then we'll sit down and talk about it because all emotions have probably calmed down a little bit. You got a clear head. It's not right after a game, everybody trying to get out of there. So, with that being said, as parents, like you said, we ain't making no money. And at the end of the day, I know we said this a couple of podcasts ago, I don't see no coach out there trying to lose game. He's trying to put the best player out there to win.
No doubt.
So with that being said, if Junior not getting the plays like he should be, and you're attending practices, and you're seeing now, do you always get that opportunity? No. We got some parents that can't do that. They have jobs, work, whatever. I get that, okay? But there's a way in which you go about it. I guess I'm going to speak from a coach perspective. Some parents come incorrect when it comes to that, man. We got some parents that come in there hooping and hollering because their kids said this, right? I always feel this. A kid is going to say anything to get that reaction, right? And I suggest if there are any coaches watching and any parents watching, don't have a parent-coach conference. Have a parent-player and coach conference.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason being, everybody's at the round table. Ain't no he say, she say, because guess what? Junior telling you, E, you know what I'm saying? Man, Daddy, coach got favoritism. He don't like me. But he ain't say the part where I asked little E to get into the drill and he over there playing water fight with the other little boy. When I asked E to do this, he late coming to practice. When I asked little E to do that, see, they leave that piece. So usually when you all get ready to sit down at the little round table, the truth come out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And any coach worth his salt, he not here to sabotage any kid's career. You know, if he got an opportunity, even in high school, you know, we don't have to guarantee any minutes by any means.
Right.
But if I have an opportunity to try and get a kid on the field and he has done everything I've asked him to do, he may not be as talented as the rest, I'm going to try to find a way to do something for him just to reward him for his efforts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I heard
because
you just let him.
Because he deserves that.
Fine. That's what I heard. That was the rules I heard.
Say what now?
Heard you know, y'all Miami boys just let him in because the mamas is fine. That's what they said. That happened with you at Olympia. I'm just saying. But
well, hey,
I'm just saying.
I let you, Kyle. That was for you right there.
Hey, listen, I let him on. I let him on the team because the mama was fine. I ain't say I let him in the game because the mama was fine. You see what I'm saying? There's a big difference. Yeah. But with that being said, man, see them Texas boy, they always you know what I'm saying, chopped and screwed. They always trying to mess something up, man.
I throw you under that bus, though.
I'm just telling you.
He ain't even trying to throw me on. He trying to get some transmission fluid on my back, man.
I'm telling you what I heard. That's the word of the street up here. But like you said, too, and hopefully parents understood what we said in podcasts ago. There's not a coach alive. Because I'm living witness. My senior year in high school, I averaged 24-10 and 6 assists a game. My coach couldn't stand me. Hated my guts. But he played my ass. You know, I promise you that. And, because at the end of now.
But it also helped too, right? Because you had talent. And see, that's what people don't, and that's where the fine line is, right? So here's the deal. Before I got to Olympia, they were 1-9 or whatever. So now that we turn the thing around, parents talking about their kids not playing. But the coach that left before, because they was now the reason they was 1-9, and I don't know this as a fact, but probably because wasn't putting the talent on the field. Or put it together. Yeah. So now you putting the talent on the field, you can't make everyone happy. You understand what I'm saying? And so how you do that, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I have very, very rarely had to deal with parents and talking about playing time. And I think a lot of it is because of the way I structure my practice. And I'm going to tell you, I learned this through the years. At the very beginning of every of a season, I always start off, and I was just talking to our boy in Michigan about this because they get ready to hit him with, I created a depth chart. And depth charts came out every day, right? Here's what happens with depth charts, too. I never called one kid on the field. Defense up, clap my hand. Whoever go out there. Cream of the crop, right? And kids is natural selection, right? They already know who the real dog is.
Yeah.
Right? They know who the real dog is.
All day.
So when I say, hey, I need an offense right here, 11 personnel. Little Junior standing in the back because he ain't no real gangster. Right? So what happens is, I'm just calling a spade a spade. They naturally select themselves into those groups.
Yeah.
Now when they go to special teams, right? I say, hey, I need 10 on kickoff because we already got the kicker. I need 10 on kickoff. Now that's an opportunity for Junior to jump out there, right? Because none of the starters feel like they should be on kickoff.
They trying to
but guess what Junior do? Junior standing in the back with the star in 11. Well, guess what? So now when we had that parent meeting, you can't never say, I got favoritism. Because I just saw one of the comments, I think Don Draper put on there, favoritism is the most overused word in sports. And I believe that. I got favoritism for those who ball. I say that all the time. If you balling, I got favoritism for you. If you want to hide in the back, because I don't believe in Disney movies, AG. We ain't finna win one for the giver. Hey, let's win one, guys, and we can fight tough. Now, that's how you get your behind the unemployment line. Hey, but you also go to the playoffs 2 years in a row and go to unemployment line too. Wink, wink. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, and you know,
proof is in the pudding.
I tell anybody, you know, one thing that I see that is different where I'm from than here is the parent etiquette. You can't go to a coach in Texas and talk stuff about your kid playing because your kid will never, ever play at that school. Ever. Like, the one thing about, you know, where I'm from, hey, man, you're going to either have to perform. I see a lot of parents that want to go talk to the coach, ask him 1,000 questions. Because guess what? You can't do that in college.
Yeah.
When they go to college, you think, hey, you got a kid in Michigan right now. He was a big-time recruit. Do you think Joe Mama can call and ask Jim Harbaugh why Joe ain't playing? And all, you know, man, it don't work like that. So
he told me right now, I just talked to him before we jumped on. He was like, Coach, I'm rotation with the ones and twos. You know what I mean? Now think about it. This kid got a huge arm, came out. You know what I mean? He fought his way through. You know, we got him in a little early. He ended up being Scout Team Player of the Year for offense last year as a red shirt freshman. You know what I mean? Well, as a red shirt that year. And then now he's fighting with the ones and twos. I mean, you got to fight your way. And that's what people don't understand. You know, you don't get your way right away. And we created this whole generation of, to be honest with you, we got kids talking about, I'm ninth grade, I'm varsity.
Yeah.
Ninth grade varsity, man, them dudes used to be swole up.
And the entitlement starts young, man. Like, I know y'all coach high school and everything like that, but that entitlement starts so young. So I can only imagine how they get if somebody coddle them and don't break that out of them when they get to high school. You know what I'm saying? Because I see it in 8 and 9 year olds.
Yeah, but the difference is, like I told, this is what I tell all coaches. And I tell kids this too. Do you want to be ninth grade on varsity and not playing? Or do you want to be ninth grade on varsity? Because I'd rather my son play JV and play. They're going to move him up. Like the difference between Florida and Texas. In Florida and Texas, our ninth grade team has 10 games. Our JV team has 10 games. We have a sophomore team. And we have we have 2 freshman teams. And everybody gets 12 games. But down here, your freshmen get 4, your JV gets 6 or 7, and then your varsity get 10. So at the end of the day, like Coach Hayes said, you know, we got a lot of kids. To me, if you playing varsity as a freshman, that only makes sense if you start.
Right.
Because when you're because guess what? If you second string on varsity, you're not even on the scout team.
Yeah.
So guess what? The JV kid because I've seen it happen here in Orlando where one kid was on varsity and one kid was on JV. And by the end of the year, the kid that was on JV was in front of the kid on varsity because at a lot of practices, the twos really don't get that much work.
No, sir.
But the JV starter is usually your scout team player when you line up JV against varsity. So now he's going up against better kids, so he's getting better every day.
Yeah.
The other guy just sitting on the bench watching.
Yep.
I mean, I had a kid last season, man, and he gonna be a dynamic dude, man. He already dynamic. He ended up going over to another school, and I'm not gonna really say his name, man, but super fast, great kid, great family, got a good support system. I want to say I may be off on my numbers a little bit, but maybe a 10-800 kid in ninth grade, right? Maybe 11-0, 10-9, something like that. But dynamic numbers, you know what I mean? From that, we put him on varsity. Guess what? Now he was the man in Optimus, Pop Warner, right? And that's fine. You understand what I'm saying? But when it got to varsity, I mean, you know, it's a different level. That's why they got levels to this game. So what we did was we had this kind of spot play him a little bit, put him at kick return, put him at punt return, give him certain package plays where he could be successful, or just a playbook at it. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're that talented at those Optimus we call it Optimus in Miami, but at the Pop Warner programs, you just give them the ball, go left, right, go straight, and you outrun everybody. Now a scheme involved. And not only that, you got a 14-year-old kid that's a ninth grader against what? Some of these cats 19 years old, but it's not the same. It's just like why you don't have, it's very few true freshmen playing college football. And you definitely got very few rookies playing NFL. If they do, they have spot play. They spot play, they have package. They're down back, they're not an every down player unless they just dynamic like that.
Well, but to piggyback on what you said, the kid you're talking about, he played Pop Warner. I know him very well, know his dad very well. First of all, he been playing out of position because he's not a wide receiver. His hands ain't like that. But I finally talked to his dad, told his dad straight up, I've been telling him for 3 years, man, that boy's a DB. And now he went out to 707, he see it. So he finally saw it. I'm like, because like you say, he fast. When dudes is running digs, his makeup speed is tremendous, but he's not
tremendous. He got some turnover in there.
But he's not an offensive player. Just see, one of the things in Florida people get twisted. Just because you fast, that don't make you an offensive guy. Because like you said,
well, the problem is, AG,
if Pop Warner, I can just give you.
No, but you're 100% right. You're 100% right. But the biggest problem is, you're right in Florida, but here's the biggest problem. People want to be celebrated, right? So who gets celebrated? The guy that crossed the goal line. And you know what I mean? People, I mean, that's the society we in. But people don't realize, see, look, you got to know where the numbers at. Go be a DB and see what you get paid.
Versus wide receiver.
I'm going to give you a quick. Hey, ask Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes played wide receiver at Norland Senior High School for us. Wide receiver, running back, offensive dude. Coach, I want the ball. Florida State recruiter. I'll try my best when I was defensive coordinator. Hey, Zay, boy, you a safety, boy. Hey, man, you a corner. You got it. Nah, I got to have the ball. I got to score. I feel you, baby. Guess what? He went to Florida State 2 days later. They had DB. Guess what? First round draft pick, and he just signed $70 million signing bonus. $70 million contract as a corner. Because guess what? He's 6'3", 220 at corner. So what I'm trying to say is, we chasing the dream of being celebrated versus chasing the actual what we can actually do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
a lot of times that puts us. Yeah, and that's what put us out of position. You know what I mean? A lot of people be smart. You be offensive tackle. You 15 years, fingers and some ugly toenails, but guess what? You got 15 years of longevity, and you balling for a long time. You ain't hurt up. You ain't beat up. Think about it. You see them old linemen, man, they retired 12-year career, 15-year career. Peyton Manning and Just Saturday, they were Batman and Robin. Nobody even know who Just Saturday was. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Well, I tell people all the time, man, and people really don't understand. What are you playing for? Like, what people understand, if a coach tell you, hey, man, you a DB, you might want to listen. Because we had a kid that played with us. Hey man, he was first team all Florida at wide receiver. But the whole time I'm telling him, man, you're gonna be a DB. Every camp we went to, he worked out. And he ended up going to Wisconsin. He's in the league right now at DB. So those are things that. But that kid you're talking about, I know him very well, and I just think that parents need to also be willing. I see a lot of parents that are willing to talk to coaches, like Essex just said, but they're not really willing to listen to what the coach is giving back to them. Because a lot of times...
And funny you say that? Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, AG, because I ran into a kid's family the other day. And like I said, I kind of pride myself on kids not transferring out of my programs. And I think in 3 years, I'm going to say 1.5. I had one kid transferred, and then I say the half because I felt he may have been kind of recruited out of there, but I'm going to leave that alone. That's not an issue. And that kid wanted to be something he wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? I told his father. I'm telling his mother. I'm like, I've been doing it 20 years. As long as that kid been alive. I'm telling you, sir, this is not what he can do. This is not what he plays. He may have played that at another school, at a smaller school where you were the man. Because you know what I mean? You playing 1A ball somewhere. You know what I mean? If you playing 1A ball, you could be whatever you want to be. But you now at 8A ball in Florida, I'm telling you, this is not a position. So they transferred out. Guess what? They went to another school.
Told him the same
Guess
thing.
what he played at the other? No, guess what he played at the other school?
What was that?
The same positions in which I told him he was going to play. Guess what? They recruited him in college. Major Division I college, right?
Yeah.
Guess what he playing? The same position I told him he was going to play. But when it came to me, he wanted to play the pretty position.
Yeah.
So now Coach Hayes don't know what he's talking about. He go to the other school. I look at his highlight tape. I'm happy for the kid. He make it. I'm like, damn, the same stuff I was telling you to do. Because sometimes we think that's right all the time. And that ain't right all the time, if you know what I'm saying. So then they go over there. You know what I mean? They tell him, they show him that. Then he go to college. He doing the same thing. And I'm saying to myself, that's amazing.
They didn't want
to. I mean, I'm never going to lead you wrong. Because guess what? I'm going to always put you in. Because my success is your success. Exactly. And your success is my success.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever put me in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to put me in a bad situation. And if I'm never going to put you in a bad situation. I'm trying to win-win all the way around, man. But, just to say, man, these parents, if they come at a coach correct, you know what I'm saying? And at the right time. A lot of it is timing, man. You don't go after a coach right after a practice. Don't go after a coach definitely right after a football game. You know what I mean? Those timings are bad right there, man, because emotions are flared up. Everything is bad. Call them on the phone, text them, just don't pop up on it. Hey, coach, can I set an appointment to talk with you? You know what I mean? And that's it.
I'm just going through, man, trying to see if we got any comments. Don Draper want to go Malcolm X. We ain't going to do that today.
Hey, I read that. Hey, I feel you, Don. Power to the people, my brother.
Yeah, we're not going to do that today. But, what your boy say? Major Payne? Malcolm X.
Hey, you know what's man?
Yeah, hold on, man.
That joke was on the other day, man.
Yeah, hold on, man. Your boy say, okay, I thought I had some. Oh, but you know what? And Paul Knight from Under Armour had a statement, and he said it's a really good statement. He says, fathers are trying to live out their dreams through their sons, and I've coached a lot down here, and I've coached the Popka Raptors. Never lost a game, by the way. Like just FYI, never lost. Only lost in the championship game, but that's just another story. But I would say that never lost to nobody, Orlando. Never lost to nobody, Orlando. Always you're undefeated. It's just what it is. And even when I left and go to another team, then we beat the Raptors. That's the kind of way I roll. But what he said, what he said is totally right, though, man. I see more like dudes living through their sons down here, like in Texas, and maybe it's because honestly, when we was growing up, our dads weren't around like that. I can say this because of that, I think our generation, the guys that are 48, 49, and down to about 40, we've been there for our kids. A lot of us have, compared to our fathers them. So we might be around a little bit more. But I see a lot of guys truly living through their sons. But what really bothers me the most is this. Like, my son can go to my school and see my name in the high school Raptors. My son can, see my scrapbook. Most of these dads I see this on their sons, they wasn't never no athlete. Ever. Never went to college, never played. But I see them going off on their son. And, their son way more talented than they ever would be. And I see it a lot.
I mean, unfortunate part, I've dealt with that, man. I've seen parents, so many parents, man. The guys, moms are not too bad. But like you said, I think sometimes the dads want something too, like you say, I guess they are living vicariously, but they wanted something so bad that you end up pushing the kid away from the sport and then pushing them to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You end up making the kid hate the sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, I've dealt with parents like that. He should be a Division I player. Yeah, guess what? I should be a millionaire, but I'm not.
I got to stop you one reason. We got a comment from Rodney Wells. He said, we lost to Lowe's team. Hey, we talking real football, not 7-on-7. And Lowe's 18U team beat my 15U team. But before you even go there, Rodney Wells, don't make me put my boy Coach Hayes on your behind. You already saw what almost happened at Olympia and Dr. Phillips before. So if you want to tell the public what went down, hey, you easily can come on the show. Like, you got an open invitation to come on the show. And we can sell this right here. But go ahead, Hayes. I just had to make sure we got him straight.
Hey, Cole. Hey, Wells, check this out, dog. I know we was in that van, and I still want to get them chicken wings with you, man. No bull. Hey, on the real tip, I'm still want to get them chicken wings. I don't follow Pop Warner around here too much, so I ain't got nothing to say about that. Because at the crib, we did real weights. You played for the 100s. You played for the 110s, the 115s. Right here, 15U, 17U. Man, guess what? Line up you. That's what we played.
No.
But anyway, I ain't going to mess with all that, man.
We play AAU. So we play unlimited. So, like, and back to your point, and that's...
Oh, that what the U stand for? Unlimited?
Yeah.
I thought it stood for under. 15 under.
We play
I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought the U stood for 15 and under. I mean, you could be 15 and under, but play at that level. I didn't know you meant unlimited.
No, we unlimited. And what makes it interesting, and just so that everyone that you know that that's why if you look around the Central Florida landscape, all the AAU boys are coming in playing varsity because they've been playing unlimited. Like those are the boys that are coming in playing as freshmen because they don't have to get adjusted to the weight requirements. It takes a lot of Pop Warner guys, and that's one of the smartest things Pop Warner did was just go unlimited. Because I'm from Texas. It was always you played your grade. Whatever grade you was in, you played your grade, period. If you flunked twice and you was in the 8th grade, guess what? You played your grade. It's just how it went down. So I think that's going to help. That's going to help Florida football. I personally believe if they had unlimited football in Florida 10, 15 years ago, Florida would be so much above everyone else. Because even when I go home, the love that they have for football, I thought the fans love football more in Texas, and it's more organized and it's a bigger property. But to see kids go out and play football in tennis shoes, we ain't talking about cleats. I done seen kids play in tennis shoes in Florida. Them boys really love this game. You know what I'm saying? So I just,
Sure enough. I mean, and you're right. You're right. That's like. So in Florida, right? I mean, we love this game as kids and whatever else. And again, I know we're going to talk about that future episode. I know we talked about trying to get Luke and them boys on and talk about the state of Florida itself and why we so. I mean, we ain't even years behind. We decades behind, man. I mean, you got states out there ain't producing nobody like Vermont. They might have got a couple kickers and punters. They ain't trying to hate on Vermont, but let's be real. Who they producing? I've talked to states like let's say Idaho. They were telling me, Coach, we might have in the entire state 6 Division I football players in the entire state.
They're lucky.
You got coaches got 6 Division football players on one team. You know what I'm saying? So, but guess what? Their high school athletics is second to none.
Right.
So so we gotta sit back as coaches. I think we all need to sit up. We gotta rally there. And we got to hold these people to the fire when it comes to that. There's nowhere in the world, and we don't get it. I know we kind of off topic right now, but there's nowhere in the world that high school coaches in the state of Florida should be making $4,000-$5,000 for 365 days of work.
Hey, but
that ain't even minimum wage, dog. That's not minimum wage.
But you know what?
You know what I mean?
What kill y'all here is in Texas, the high school coach is your athletic director. And
I agree, but still, I agree with that. And still, AG, and still, the base salary for the coaching stipend ain't big enough.
But what I'm saying is, you let me finish. So we got to take the head coach out the equation. But the problem is the assistant coach who's teaching 5-6 classes a day. He making $85,000-$90,000 a year. That's the problem. And so
because his stipend is 20 stacks.
Exactly.
That's my point. So he's making his salary of $50,000-$60,000 a year teaching, and his football stipend is 20 stacks.
25.
It's crazy.
Come on.
Yeah. So, but
come on, you got places right now where you got, I don't know if it's legal or not, but I know it happened. You got the Ford dealership sponsoring the coach with the Ford. Guess what? They sponsoring the games. They're doing all this kind of stuff. The coach get a Ford truck to go scout football games. I mean, and it's not about the money, but it's more about appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it do come down to money. Because guess what you're doing as a coach? You neglecting your own child for somebody else's kid that don't have your last name.
Happens all
You know what I'm saying?
That happens all the time.
Especially if you got some girl, if you got daughters If you got a son, maybe he had practice with you. But if you got daughters, after a while, they ain't making dirt pies no more. They ain't playing in the dirt no more. They starting to become young ladies. Now they want to go off and they daddy ain't around because they spending time with other people, children. So with that being said, man, but guess what? I spend all the time with other people's children. They kids getting full scholarships to college, and I got to find a way to pay for my child. I got to take out loans to pay for my kid to get to college. Man, come on, man. We got to do something better. We got to do something better as the state that probably produced the largest amount of college athletes and NFL athletes. I hold a lot of people accountable. I hold politicians. I hold the NFL players that they coaches was. I hold the state. I hold everybody accountable, man, because we shouldn't be in this situation at all, man. And that's why you got so much turnover. That's why you got a coach only doing 2 years, 3 years. My bad. I got all my rant, dog. That was my political rant. I'm done.
Well, guess what?
Done.
As you can see, man, because you can see the comments, we got some sensitive-ass coaches up in Orlando. You see Wells, you see your boy Hayes just went off on a little sensitive tangent. Give him a little tissue so he can cry. And then Rodney Wells over there talking about, Hayes, we good, bruh. AG, I know I don't do beefs. Man, y'all couldn't make it in Texas, those soft-ass coach. Let me get back on topic, too.
Hey, Hey, Wells, I don't know if you still on here not listening, dog, but for real, AG, you said it. I'm for real, dog. I don't know how long I'm going to be here in Orlando or whatever the case may be, but I want to make amends with cats. Because like I say, I think a lot of this stuff, we talked about this in the call on the real, a lot of stuff was a lot of miscommunication because I do think Wells do a good job over there. But we did have a good game, hey, but that thing came close to that number 5, caught that damn on screen and took it in, man. I thought we had them boys that year, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That first year, they spanked us.
You was hoping. I know you was. Hold on, your boy.
Hey, that second year, I thought we had it, man. But anyway, hey, Wells, for real, we going to get up, man. Hey, anyhow, that's just what I got to say about it.
Hold on, your boy Keith Marshall and Tay Lewis say you get what you pay for. That's cool. And then Keith Marshall say, why the coaches down HBCs? And then Pine Hills, AGU. Man, I ain't paying no attention. Anyway, man.
Well, I talk.
Yeah, he said, why? Because we had a conversation offline that we probably need to have online about the HBCUs, but go ahead and tell him, and then I'll explain what we talked about, what really goes on.
Well, here's the thing about HBCUs, man. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Sometimes we got to get it right as a people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't get it right. I had an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, during my spring break, again, that I had to pay for out of my pocket to get myself better. So I flew to the University of Maryland and over to Howard University because I wasn't sponsored by the school in any kind of way. So I said that I'm going on my rant, I'm back. So anyway, I went over to University of Maryland and I went over to Howard. You know what I mean? I'm going to always respect Howard for what they have. But guess what, man? Their football office is inside the dorm, man.
Right now.
Right now. The stadium only seat. This is probably one of the top. I hate to say it because I went to Hampton, but it's probably one of the top HBCUs nationally known for all of their stuff, and they got an 8,000 seat stadium, man.
Hold on, hey, we can stay right here before you go there.
Okay, go ahead. I want to say why that's happening though.
No, because just so they know, it's not just up that way. Because we took the kids by FAMU last year. And,
here we go.
And my wife.
He'll rattle now, AG.
My wife went to FAM. My best friend Tim Davis went to FAM. And Tim, I was talking to Tim, and Tim played football at FAM in '83 through '87. And I was amazed at their practice field. I'm from Texas. That was my middle school practice field was better than that. So Tim said to me, he said, AG, that's the same practice field we practiced on in 1987. Now, mind you, this is 2019. So so you look at that and like you say, we got to do better. Because like I told somebody else the other day, there is no way in hell I can go to my son. Because Earl Holmes is my frat brother, he my boy, he was the head coach at FAM. He gonna tell me, AG, I want a kid that can go to Florida State. I say, well, if he can go to Florida State, why is he gonna come here? Seriously. I mean, if you look at what FAM is offering versus what Florida State is offering, why would a kid do that? Seriously. So, like, because you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't coach at FAMU if Florida State offered you a job. So why do you expect a kid to do the same thing?
Right. I mean, the sad part about this, man, I mean, it's a bunch of economic stuff I'm going to go into about that too, but you look at these schools, most of predominantly HBCUs are private institutions, so they don't get a lot of state funding. Not only that, we don't get other kind of dollars. Right. And a lot of our endowment and stuff, we don't have a large endowment, but here's the deal. We also don't give back to our universities. True. Our alumni don't give back. But why don't we give back? Here go the problem. Because we got a bunch of student loans.
No.
Right? No.
That too. But
no. Hear me out. I'm gonna show you how economics play a part in all of this.
No. I'm gonna help you with one other thing.
I know we got it going on.
You good with that? I'm with you.
Yeah, but we don't have a lot of our kids' parents don't pay that outright. So guess what? We got Fannie Mae and Sally Mae, so we don't have money to give back to the university because we're paying these people for the next 30 years. I mean, this is how the hole gets dug. So what people don't understand, they look at football, but what people don't understand how much it takes to run football versus all the other dollars that come. The hole gets dug, and it's so hard to get out of that hole. So I'm trying to help answer Keith Marshall's question of why people kind of the facilities are not up to par because people don't realize at Olympia High School, I spend $50,000 a year. I spent $50,000 a year. So imagine these HBCUs, they got to travel, hotels, planes, food, insurance, medical. I mean, it go through the roof.
That's why
you know what I'm saying? So that's why they're taking these games. That's why Howard is playing Maryland at the beginning. Yeah. So Maryland can shoot them $1 million just to play them for a tune-up game.
Yeah.
That's why FAMU play University of Miami. So they can try and get out the hole.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm going to say this. People look down on HBCUs, and I'm going to say this. Being a product of one, I know you're a product of one, but I'm going to say this as well. At the end of the day, football is football. They come get you from all levels. They come get you from all areas. If you can go to HBCU and you have an offer from there, go, my brother. Because beyond football, the experience itself, the experience itself is something you'll never, ever forget.
Well, you got to.
I agree. And if the HBCUs could get their situation together, get the money together, I think these black kids, especially with what they seeing nowadays, will see the value of going to it. But to your point, when you see all that, the facilities and all the stuff going on with the bigger schools, it's a no-brainer. But if we can get a situation together, man, it would be a beautiful thing.
But let's talk about one thing, Essex, because this is another thing that happens that people don't understand. Because I'm one of the few people that my first college stop was Prairie View A&M.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then I went to a white school, which is Texas State, and finished up there. Yeah. But people understand, Prairie View is probably, I want to bet you that we're probably the most financially stable black university there. This is how you know. When I was there, the big scandal was, and the reason I left was our athletic director stole $40 million.
Oh, shit.
1987. So he had stole money for about 5-6 years, but just the fact that he could steal $40 million and nobody even saw it coming, that speaks a lot. That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
But if you notice, Prairie View is where they do the Olympic trials at. Prairie View is because it's a big university. But one of the things that I've heard, because I know a lot of rappers, and I've always asked, why don't you give back to the community? Because my frat brother Chuck Lewis was president of the Rattler Alumni Association. You know it. You know what I heard from at least 10 Rattlers?
What's that?
They didn't, just like some people don't get a church for the same reason. They didn't know what they was going to do with the money.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's just being honest.
That's why I say I know I'm back, but I say that's why we got to do better.
We managed a lot of money, man. That's true.
And so before we start, HBCUs got to do better. And another problem with HBCUs is they don't recruit kids that are willing to come to the HBCUs. You've seen it, Coach Haynes. You have a kid that I knew kids that.
But you know why?
But I'm gonna tell you what reason they told me.
I'm gonna tell you why that's happening.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the reason they told me. They're afraid he's gonna go to a bigger school if they offer him. They're afraid if they give him the offer at FAMU now, and then he gets another offer, he's gonna go to another school. My thing is, it's just like in the club. You can't get in if you don't try to go at it. It's just what it is. Like, so what they'll want to do, they want to find a kid that falls off and hope that he comes versus just recruiting the kids straight up. Because I know kids, I'm telling you, that went to the Illinois states, that have went to the North Dakota states, that have went to Kent states, that wanted to go to FAMU, but FAMU wouldn't offer.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to BCU, but BCU wouldn't offer.
Yeah.
So we got to do better.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you a couple things, AG, where I find out what people don't realize, because people get caught up with name brand. They think, they think Nike got the best performance shoe out there. As we see Zion Williams prove that wrong. But
I don't know. That's a beast, though, man.
I'm saying this.
Yeah.
I think he's a beast, though, man. I don't know. That might be a one-off, but I got you. I feel you.
Yeah.
No. I was just trying to say. I'm saying that what I'm trying to say about that is, here's what's happening with HBCUs, man. One is the pressure starting from the top, right? As most things when it comes to all that foolishness is the people that's not in the fire telling you how hot it is. So the president wants to win right now. The athletic director wants to win right now. The board members want to win right now. So what do they say? Why are we not getting the top Division I player? So what do HBCUs do? They're looking for fallbacks. They're looking for dudes that messed up at the Division I level. You understand what I'm saying? And as soon as they mess up at the Division I level, then they can play right away at the HBCU. Hell, I had a kid that played for me Division I. He messed up. He was a safety. Before I knew he was off the team, HBCU was calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Coach, what's his number? What? I'm like, what happened?
Damn.
Coach, yeah, I heard the word. He finna put him off. I'm trying to jump on him first. Now, I ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to fill your roster with basically you becoming a junior college, that you don't have any continuity with your team. So now the pressure is to win right away. So what do we got to do? Try and get the top-notch kids. But what they don't realize is you missing the top players. And what they're doing is they going off to a Southern Illinois. They leaving it going over to like you said, Kent State. They going over to a McNeese or something like that. Well, guess what? Believe it or not, I feel in my heart that those type of schools are equivalent to HBCUs because you're going to get more exposed. Now, let me ask you this. When the last time you seen a McNeese football game?
Actually, I saw one because I'm a football guy, but I saw one on ESPN.
But I'm just being real. You got to go on ES. You got to go on. What I'm trying to say is you don't see those type of games, huh?
I'm saying ESPN3, but you can see the fam when fam got done.
No. I'm not worried. I don't care if it's ESPN3. What I'm just trying to say is, I would if my experience so far as Division I, one game a year on television versus an HBCU where I could do classics.
Damn, you on TV twice.
Man, I got the experience. I got all this stuff. I'm going to take the HBCU experience. But guess what? We got people think because they got D1 tagged on their helmet, it's a better experience. A lot of those kids come home because they out of their element. It's not what they, because guess what? Just because it's D1, it don't look like Ohio State on a Saturday. It don't look like Penn State on a Saturday.
Man, well, we this is what's crazy, and we'll get on that, man, because we gotta go. We got like 2 minutes. Hey, Essex, you got anything you want to share with the people? We appreciate having you on. Appreciate you talking from a parent's perspective. So, you got anything you want to share with the people? Because we got to get up out of here in a second.
Hey, no problem, man. Just shout out to y'all boys. Keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate you having me on, and anytime, man. Y'all keep doing it.
Thanks a lot, fam.
Hold on, E. Hold on, before you cut him off. E, shameless plug. Go for it, dog.
Shameless plug. Hey, man.
Go for it, dog. You my dog.
Hey, check out The Oath, man, on Sony Crackle, man. Check your boy out. I'm on season 2. Episode 2, man. That's about all I got right now. I got some more stuff coming in the hopper.
Dog, he an actor, man. That's Essex, Washington. That my dog an actor, man. So he be on commercials. Y'all probably done seen him before. He be on commercials. He been on with Peyton Manning. He been on Nutrisystem. My dog be on Publix commercials. My dog straight, he's a thespian. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. Y'all lay off my dog right there. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be out. I ain't got nothing to say.
They talking about you. Ain't nobody sitting on him. They talking about you. But go ahead. What else?
Huh?
Go ahead. What else you got to say?
Man, I'm finna tell you like I always tell you every week. Come check your boy out at Coach Hayes Football. That's youtube.com/Coach Hayes Football. We dropping on film. We dropping on tapes. We still getting subscribers, man. Make sure y'all log on, like, comment, subscribe. Make it happen, man, and check it out, man. AG, hey, we gonna. Oh, matter of fact, when I got cut off earlier, that was my homeboy. That was not my homeboy, but that was one of my former players. He want to talk about next week if we can. We talk about what college players do while they're in college, so far as getting prepared financially. And I'm gonna have another guy that played in the NFL. We can get him on about making sure they how to take care of their dollars and cents, man, while they're in college and what they have a plan afterwards instead of just buying gold chains and chicks, man.
All right. Well, one thing I wanted to say before I got one thing real quick. Now I'm just messing with you, Pioneers. You my dog. He talking about he thought I was he just messing with me. I know how he do. But now, man, one of the things that's sad is, because you brought up the exact point, man, each state is the same as FAMU. They both are Division I AA's. But the sad part is we got kids so focused on Division I that now I'm blessed to receive my first Division I offer. There's a difference between FAMU and Ohio State are both Division I. But there's a big difference between Ohio State and FAMU. And kids need to, what ends up happening, all them kids that end up transferring back down, for the most part, they probably was really a FCS kid from the beginning. There's very few kids.
From the beginning?
Yeah, very few kids that, that they were, this number one kid in the country. No, I know one. And if they do transfer down, it's because of a legal issue. It's never because of an athletic issue. The kid that'll be starting at TSU, he was at Florida State, but it was a legal issue. Great kid,
Is that where he's going?
Yeah, he's going to FSU. Not Francois, the kid before, from the one that slapped the white girl that called him the N-word. But
I thought he was down to FAU.
He was, but he transferred over. He's finished up his last year because guess what? He understands.
At Tennessee State?
He's transferring to Texas Southern. That's
Oh, Texas Southern, okay.
So that's my TSU. But I tell anybody, great kid, and he had that situation that happened, but even he realized, hey, I got to get on the damn field. At the end of the day, if you're trying to get to the next level, you better have some damn film. And it's just, and they ain't going back to your high school film. They need to see you against college competition. So
right.
So next week we got a player in Lowwood. We all know Lowwood. He wanted us next week as well. He sent me a text. He wanted us to talk about these junior days and how kids are going to junior days without offers, and explain.
Okay.
Which we'll explain why and the pros and cons. But hey, man, I ain't got no plug, man. I'm just AG watch team. I don't do much else, But but hey, man. But I apologize. We were supposed to go on Tuesday, but my daughter had a game in Flagler Palm. Coach, she did, catch a little touchdown. I put it on Facebook, But
good job, baby.
I think Wednesday's gonna be the day.
Did she spike it? Did she spike it?
Nah, you know what? And the sad part is, my boy that who now he's one of the Gators' finest. Who he is. He told her if she act a fool, he give her some money. She still didn't act a fool. Like, because he
yeah.
School. I'm like,
because she got that Texas in her. Hey, if she was from the crib, guess what? She'd been that thing, boy, doing the California worm up and down. She'd have hit some of them AB moves. She'd have been doing all that. Yes. Got that Texas in her, man.
Well, you'll probably play with. I don't know. Did Oak Ridge got Wakava this year?
I don't know, man. Got a new schedule out, man. Be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah, well, hey,
I have no idea. I haven't seen it.
Because unfortunately, I don't think she do it because her brother got enough of that in him. He pretty ignorant. And like I can guarantee he get 15 yards first touchdown he scored. But I can guarantee you, I can put money on it. Like I be in 7-on-7 tournaments, man. He be talking noise. I be like, man, he my own son. I be like, man, leave these dudes alone. You know they bigger than you. You can't fight, but it's what it is. But man, hey, we appreciate y'all, man. We always have fun with the football chop up with Coach Hayes and Coach AG. We appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we gonna have some of these little jitterbugs. We'll get a couple of jitterbugs that played college. Let them talk to the parents so they can get a real experience of what it's like to be a college athlete.
Yeah. So we'll talk, man. We get it all set up, man.
All right, man. Be good. Peace out to y'all out there.